Alright guys, welcome back to Indulge with Dimples. It is Sunday, that's why you're here watching me. So I got something really amazing that we're going to cook this Sunday. Simple, easy. Now I done told you before, this is not a keto channel. But I like keto food. And I like eating low carb. And I like staying on track with my life journey. And I will be updating y'all with that. But you clicked on this video because you seen the picture, which is delicious. And you seen the title, which you are interested in learning how to make. So follow me in the kitchen and let's get this started. Alright guys. Alright guys, so today, like I told you in the intro, I'm going to be making you a tuna melt in a low carb fashion. So I'm just going to go down the rundown of all the ingredients that I normally do, and then we're going to get to it. So how you normally make your tuna, you just want some canned tuna. Add some canned tuna in water. I don't like it in oil. If you like it in the oil, get you some of that. I use avocado mayo. It's really good. I haven't used anybody else's brand but this one, so it's really good. Try that out. If you're doing like keto Pacific, again, this is not a keto channel. It's just a low carb friendly because sometimes I make low carb stuff. Miracle Whip has always been a family favorite in our house. I have some diced red onions. You can use yellow or sweet onions. I love the red onions. That's what I use in here. I have a couple boiled eggs that I boiled, and some of my seasonings. I have a Farmer's Market ranch, buttermilk ranch seasoning. I have talked about this a couple times in the video. Some salt and some pepper, some garlic powder, and I'm going to be using a Lipton's onion seasoning pack, which I like to put in my tuna. And then I just have a nice little bell pepper I'm going to cut up. Now, to make a tuna melt that's low carb and delicious, you're going to need some cheese. So, most of us have this stuff in the house. It's not like you have to go out and buy it. If you do, it's probably going to run you about $6 altogether. Cheese, I always get when it's on sale. I do not buy cheese if it's not on sale. Not going to do it. So, I got the Kobe Jack right here. This is the slices. And then I have the Monster right here. Meyer brand ice, okay? Get the cheese that's best for you. So what you want to do is preheat your oven to 350, and you want to let your oven start warming up. I'm going to go ahead and make my tuna. I'm just fixing the camera, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and make my tuna. So make sure you go ahead and open up your cans of tuna, and you want to drain them. If you're using a can of tuna with oil in it, then you don't have to drain them. I'm not quite sure, but the tuna that I'm using is in water, so you have to drain it. You want to go ahead and dice up your bell pepper, your onion. Some people like to put celery in the tuna. You can go ahead and do that as well. Now, I'm making a low carb tuna melt, and I'm going to make my tuna like I would if I was going to eat it with crackers. But you can make your tuna however you like. So if you like sweet tuna, if you want to put relish in there, go ahead. If you want to make it with a little crunch to it, like I am, put your bell pepper, your celery in there, and your onions. I don't have any celery, so I was just like, hey, that's an ingredient that's not going to be in our tuna. So go ahead and cut up all of that. Now I'm going to put everything down in the description box of what I actually use and put in there. Just a little red onion that I use, and I put in here to make sure that you have the measurements for everything. Now for the garlic powder, I would use about a tablespoon, because I'm using 4 eggs. I'm using 4 cans of tuna. Only thing that has salt in it right now is the Lipton seasoning pack, the onion seasoning pack, and I'm just going to go ahead and use about a tablespoon of that as well. So everything, all the seasoning that I'm using has a tablespoon. Now, if you can't find your regular buttermilk, you can just use the Lipton's ranch seasoning pack. It's really awesome as well, but I went to the Farmer's Market and I bought this and it was delicious. So I've been using them practically everything. So go ahead and open up your tuna and just drop the cans in here. And make sure you are being careful when you open up the cans, because you do not want to cut yourself. And then you want to rinse them out, sit them in the sink, and then put them in the trash can if you're not going to dump your trash that day. Because if you just throw these in the trash can, yeah, you're going to have a nice little smell. So go ahead and just open these up and dump them in here. going to go ahead and mix this up dry without any miracle mayonnaise or anything in here. And you want to give it a little taste to see if you have enough seasoning. Sometimes me using 4 cans, you might want to put 2 tablespoons of all the seasonings that we're going to use, but you do not want to overpower it because then it's going to be salty if you're using a lot of seasoning with salt in it, or it can be under seasoned, so therefore you're not going to get a nice flavor. But the onions, the bell pepper, celery, or the relish is going to make it really good. So stir it up and let it marinate, taste it, do its thing. Now, depending on how your family feels about Miracle Whip mayonnaise, you want to use the measurements that you feel is comfortable in your home. I'm going to use the same measurement 1:1 to each. So I don't want it really creamy, but I don't want it dry as well. Alright, so once you get done mixing this up and tasting it, set it aside because everything is done with your tuna. So however you make your tuna, go ahead and just set it aside. Next thing you want to go ahead and do is get the cheese out that you prefer to use. And I'm going to use some mustard cheese and some Kobe Jack cheese. So these are the cheeses that I'm going to use. And I'm going to do is just get a baking sheet, put some parchment paper, and I'm going to layer some cheese on the baking sheet. You're going to bake this until they get like bubbly a little bit and get crispy brown on the sides. And then once they're done getting crispy brown on the sides, you want to go ahead and pop it out of the oven. Let it sit just for a little bit, not too long. And then we're going to go ahead and give a little dollop of our tuna in here, folded over, and you're going to have a nice tuna melt. So go ahead and do that. And I will see you back in just a few minutes. Alright guys, so I just took out the cheese out of the oven, and this is what it looks like. Let me get a towel because this is hot. So this is a simple, easy little tuna melt that you can make if you're on low carb. Now we have the tuna over here, and you want to take them out the oven, and you want to give yourself a little scoop of the tuna on one end of the cheese, just like so. You don't want to overstuff it, but you want to make sure you got enough tuna flavor in there, okay? So go ahead and just fill up the rest of the cheese with your tuna. Oops. The kids can make this. This is a family little snack that you can have in between breakfast and dinner. Very easy and healthy. So now you want to do, go ahead and take your spatula, and you just want to scrape around the edges a little bit while it's still warm, and you want to just fold it over and pinch the sides so that they can stick together. So go ahead and repeat that. Now if you overstuffed it, the sides are not going to pinch, and you're not going to have like a cute little egg roll situation, like, okay? And what you want to go ahead and do is just cut off the oven, and you just want to stick these back in there for like a hot minute or two if the oven's off. So the one for the oven is going to just seal these together, cheese on top of cheese with a little stuffing in between, just like so. Now if you took them out right when they're hot, then you don't have to worry about sticking them back in the oven, and this is how they look. That's cute. It's like a little tuna melt. Alright. Good and delicious. If you want to, you can go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of seasoning on top to give it a little more flavor, like I'm going to do right now. Simple, easy, delicious. Simple, easy, delicious little snack to have in between. So I'm going to go ahead and just stack these up over here. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and take this one and taste it for you. So this is what it looks like, close and personal. Just like a little crab roast stuff situation, but it's a tuna melt. And you take a bite out of it. It has a little crunch. However you made your tuna, that's the flavors you're going to get with the cheese on the outside. Just damp it with a little paper towel to get some of the grease off. And you got a nice little snack. Or you can make this out of a dinner. So until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, tune in to our next little mini cooking haul. And I'll see you later, guys.